Hey, Mikey, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Mrs. Gomez. So I received your pass, and I know you wanted to meet with me. I know you were a little bit concerned about some test anxiety, is what you noted on the pass.
Yes.
I would like to get to know you a little bit first, so I actually have an icebreaker.
Okay.
So what I'd like for you to do is just select a question, and then maybe answer it for me.
You want me to read it to you?
Yeah, if you could read it out loud, that would be awesome.
If you could change 3 things about yourself, what would they be? Let's see. Probably.
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Are there any areas that you would like to improve on?
I guess time management would be one of them. More self-discipline. And I don't know what the last one would be.
And if you don't know, we can skip.
Yeah, I don't know what they're.
I think those are 2 good ones. Time management and self-discipline. I'll have you pick another one.
Okay. Which of your friends are you proudest of and why? Let's see, I would have to probably say probably my friends Carlos and Brittany, just because they've already graduated and already on their, doing their careers, what they wanted to do. So I'd pick both of them. I'd be proud of.
So I hear you're proud of them because they've graduated college, they have set careers, they're where they want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a reflection, perhaps, let me know if I'm right, of where you would like to be eventually.
Exactly. Yeah, just something to look up to.
Yeah.
What motivates me, I guess.
That's good. So back onto the subject of test anxiety. What does that feel like for you? Like, what are the descriptions of test anxiety? Like, how are you feeling when that happens?
Well, as soon as I get a test, like I know the material like going in, but for some reason, once it's the day of the test, it doesn't matter how much I study. As soon as like I go and I sit down in the classroom, I don't know, I tend to panic, I guess, and as soon as I get the test, I stare at the work and the problems, and I just kind of like space. I don't know. It all goes blank, and it's hard to like focus, I guess, on the material because everything just kind of like goes away and I forget everything. So I don't know how to like take care of that problem personally.
So just to recap here, when you sit down, say this is your test, and you sit down, you're looking at it. Do you start just reading all the problems and you start getting really anxious, or?
Yeah, I read all the problems and I go through like every page to see if there's something easy that I know how to do, but that doesn't seem to work either.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like sit there and I think I sit there and I think, and then I just look at the time as well, and I don't know, eventually I just find myself writing random things, guessing and seeing if I'm like gonna be right on some of the stuff on the test. Yeah.
So just thinking back in the past, do you remember a time where you did really well on a test and you just felt awesome about it? Like, yes, I did it.
Yeah, there's been a few situations. It's just on the subject. It really depends on the subject.
On the subject?
Yeah.
So, what subject do you do really well on for your tests?
Just subjects that I'm interested in. Like, I'm good in English, psychology, health, like those type of classes. But when it comes to like science or math, more like technical and hard-based courses, I tend to struggle the most. And I don't know, like I pay attention and I can do all the work in class and outside of class, but it just once it comes to the test, for me it seems like everything's different, and so I tend to forget everything.
So what does your routine look like as far as how are you preparing for these tests?
Well, to be honest, I could prepare better, I want to say, even though I do the homework, but when it comes to like studying for the test, I always tend to cram, studying like the last minute or like the night of. So, I don't know. But there are situations where I do try to study throughout the week or, certain days before the test comes up. But then, I don't know, for some reason I tend to like forget it by the time I take the test. Whereas if I was to do it a night before or the morning of, I'm just more trying to like, I tend to memorize things. But that either works or it backfires. So it's bad either way, I guess, I want to say.
Now, just thinking back too on the subjects that you're really successful in, are you studying for those tests, or do they just come natural to you?
It just comes more naturally, just because I'm more interested, and I don't know, I'm just more interested in those classes that I can do well on, and so they come easier for me than math or science, those type of classes.
So as far as techniques go, I hear right now your current approach, just correct me if I'm wrong, is you tend to wait till the last minute and then you're trying to jam pack either the night before or the morning of before the test.
Yeah.
And then you said that either you do really well or it backfires. How often do you think it backfires versus you do well?
Probably more than like half of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you think that approach is working for you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if there's something else that I can
That
do,
you could do?
I think it would help out more.
Definitely. So, is there anything that you've thought about doing? Like, as a student, is there anything
honestly,
that you think in the back of your mind, like, that you haven't tried yet? Like, hey, maybe this would be a good idea. Like, as a student, what could I do to make sure that I am prepared for this test?
Just seek more help with like tutors, talk to, like find resources that can help me out and get extra help.
So seek more resources. Right now, how often are you seeking out resources to help you?
Not much really. I could probably do more, but pretty much the resources that I've been using is just my classmates, people that I have like the same class with, and like try to get together or in a group and just kind of like study together and stuff like that.
And how does that work when you guys are in a group together?
It tends to work a lot of the times actually.
Okay.
But again, it just depends.
Depends on what you're
It
doing.
depends on what I'm doing,
Now, as far as like your morning routine, are you making sure that you eat a good breakfast before you go in to take that test?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there are mornings where I don't eat, and so that's probably not a good idea. But another problem is I also stay up pretty late, so that can also be a factor of why
Yeah.
my brain doesn't really function as it should when it comes to like test taking. I feel exhausted a lot of the time, but going to sleep early is pretty hard for me as well.
Yeah.
So again, I just need to get like a good schedule,
A routine, right?
I need a better routine than what I have already.
Okay. So I'm just gonna write that down. I'm writing down. You're actually, believe it or not, you're giving me tips for your own test taking,
Right.
study skills, and all that. So seek more resources. I heard from you. I also heard maybe go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned eating a breakfast that morning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you can think of that might help with your test anxiety?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. Just those three things right there.
Now, I know in order to change, in order to get yourself in that mindset, you have to be willing to put in that effort. So how likely do you think it would be that you would seek resources next week, like before a test?
Right away.
Right away?
Yeah.
And also, what if you not only studied, a few days before, but also right before the test? So you're combining, in advance and then also right before.
Yeah, that could also help me out more than what I usually do. So,
What about communication with your teachers?
yeah, I do that. I try to do that most of the time, but I find myself sometimes where I'm struggling, and I put in my mind that I'm probably not going to do as good in the class, so I just kind of like stop communicating with the teacher. I already like prepare myself for failure, so. But I do try to communicate at first, and then again, it just depends whether I'm doing well in the class or if I'm doing bad. And if I'm doing bad and trying to communicate with the teacher, but it's not helping out, then I just kind of give up.
So just another recap, I hear you're saying that you're more willing to communicate in the beginning of the class, but as time goes by, you're not communicating as often, but you're also kind of setting yourself up for failure by thoughts that you're giving yourself like negative vibes. You're telling yourself, I can't do it.
Exactly.
So what if you changed your mindset too? Like,
just be more positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that's something that you could do also?
Yeah, could be.
Thinking back too, if you're telling yourself you can't do it and then you go to take your test, are you telling yourself right before the test, I'm not going to do well?
Yeah, because I do tend to go in scared, and so already that's like a negative, feeling when I go and take the test. Whereas I think I just need to be more confident, feel confident about myself and what I'm going to do, and perhaps that'll help me out to do better than what I put in my mind, saying that I'm probably going to do worse.
Yeah, just like you do in the classes that you enjoy. I think you do well because you're
the classes that I enjoy,
you know?
I don't stress or worry. So yeah, a big part of it is also stress. So I stress myself out more than I should, and I should just relax and be more confident in myself and what I'm going to do when it comes to the test.
So I also hear stress is a big impact on how you do on your test. Are you utilizing any techniques to release stress to calm yourself down before you take a test?
Before?
Mm-hmm.
No, I probably should, but it's just difficult to try to relax just because I'm stressing out. Reasons why is because I get nervous, the morning of, or an hour or so before the class.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I find it hard. It's difficult to not be so stressed out. But that's also because of the way how I study and go about all of that. So
yeah, it's all related.
it's all related. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big circle.
Yeah, it's just need a better routine. Try to get more help than what I'm already seeking, and it could probably change that into more positives and negatives right now. So it's something I have to work on.
Yeah. Just to let you know that that anxiety, it is normal to have a little bit of test anxiety. That adrenaline that you get actually allows you to perform better and to take the test seriously. But there's a fine line between having a little bit of anxiety and test stress and having it actually impact how you do. So do you think that you would be able to change some of your habits and see if
I
that
believe
helps?
so.
Now, a couple of really great tips for releasing stress. You can get out and move around, walk. You can count back, breathe, deep breaths.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you do personally that relaxes you? Like, say you're really freaking out. Is there anything that you've done in the past?
Well, I'd probably have to say what helps me release stress is exercising.
Okay.
And so that's mainly, what helps me out the most is, exercising whenever I'm stressed out, just to kind of relieve some stress. And then I tend to focus better once all that stress is gone that I'm feeling inside. So that helps me out. And I don't know. I guess just talking to a friend that's also in the class, that could like help me stay positive.
So
I could
maybe
do that, which I don't really as much.
a mentor.
Yeah, exactly. More. Yeah, exactly.
A mentor.
Mhm.
Now, is there somebody in your current class? Because I know you said you experience a lot of anxiety in math. Is there anybody in that class that you could seek out as a mentor?
Yeah, I have a classmate. She's pretty smart. She's doing well, so that's someone I can like seek to and get extra help, almost just like a tutor, pretty much. Yeah.
Now, have you had a chance to ask her like what she does in order to be successful in that class?
I have, and it's all about just sitting down and going over all your homework and the book and the chapters and all that stuff, and just really sitting down and studying and focusing and just kind of tuning everything else out, which I easily get distracted, so it's hard for me to like sit in a chair for like 2 hours and try to like study on one topic when half the time I'm on my phone or just being distracted by other things around me. So I find it better that I stay at school, like at the library, and just get all my work done and study there, whereas if I come home I just can't do it. Yeah. Distractions, yeah.
So what mainly distracts you when you're trying to study?
Just either like media, friends, mainly. Stuff like that. Just being comfortable, I guess. I tend to get, lazy or not in the mood of like wanting to do work. So if I just stay longer at school or, with other classmates that are like still studying or more focused in the class than I am, then that motivates me more as well to like work harder and do better. So, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you actually know the key to reduce your own test anxiety, just from what I'm seeing here. So, looking here, I know at the beginning when I asked you, 2 things that you want to work on, you had mentioned time management and self-discipline, right?
Yeah.
Looking here, just asking you, what could you do as a student to be successful, specifically in math? You told me that you could seek out more resources, and you actually mentioned a few, the library, there's tutoring there, and you also mentioned a mentor, Peter. You also had mentioned going to bed earlier, because right now you're staying up a little bit late, probably a lot later than you should. Sometimes you're skipping breakfast, and you even told me that you could eat breakfast that morning. And when discussing, stress reduction and reducing your anxiety, you mentioned exercise really helps. So that's another tip that you've actually given me. So you'd go and exercise perhaps even that morning.
Exactly. Okay.
To get your mind off the test.
Yeah.
And also study in advance, you'd mentioned. So maybe starting at least a week in advance. And then again, utilizing that mentor, which is actually in your class. So looking here, and you pretty much outlined a routine that, what do you think that looks like? And then also you'd mentioned you're going to avoid distractions. So what would that look like for you if you're going to avoid your distractions when you go to study?
Just kind of shut everything off, my phone mainly.
Yeah.
That's
so
my
turn
main,
off the phone.
That's my main distraction.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's my main distraction of like communication with everything else that's going on. So.
Well, it's hard too when you have friends that are constantly sending you messages and calling.
So,
Mikey, what are you doing?
Exactly.
And then ultimately, you told me, get in the mindset.
Yeah.
So maybe that day, you wake up, you go to bed, you sleep well, you get up, maybe do a little bit of studying, go hit the gym, exercise, get to class a little early, talk to your mentor, calm yourself down, get yourself in the mindset, and what would you tell yourself as far as getting in the right mindset?
Just stay calm and be positive.
Yeah.
So don't freak out as much.
So do you think that this is a reasonable to-do list for you as far as preparation for the next test?
It seems easy. I just need to focus and do it, not have any excuses or stuff like that hold me back. So just, focus on the task and do the best of my ability. And I think that can help me succeed the most. But mainly just staying confident, because I'm confident for the most part, but when it just comes to like the test, I don't know, it all kind of like goes away, and it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so that's my downfall right there.
Well, you know what? I think that you have given yourself some great advice. So I'd like to meet with you again next week and see how things go. Are you okay with meeting with me again?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right.
That'd help me out.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing about your progress.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.